Welcome back to Credentialed. We have a very special episode today because we're answering questions. So far, it's been a few weeks and we put it out there. We're like, what do you guys want to know? What questions do you have? What do you want to hear us talk about? And we got a number of responses. And one is a fun question. Okay, so we'll start off on the fun road. You dig that?
Casual couch conversation. Let's get it.
Yes. Favorite football teams, college and pro?
So college, if you did not immediately go Notre Dame Fighting Irish, then you don't know me because there's no questions there. Go Irish all the way. Okay, the NFL is where it gets interesting, Jillian. So I grew up a St. Louis Rams fan.
Okay.
Right around, I want to say my 10th birthday, because I was actually born on Super Bowl Sunday.
You were? I didn't know that.
In 1990.
That's
if
funny.
Anybody wants to guess my age, I just gave it out. And my mom was in labor and had to get people's attention of, hi, something's happening here.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody was watching the game. And I was born right at the end of it.
That's hilarious.
So Super Bowl used to fall right around my birthday. It doesn't anymore because the schedule has changed. And Kurt Warner won the Super Bowl right around my birthday when I was about 10 years old. I'm not sure, but around that age.
Okay.
So huge St. Louis Rams fan, grew up with that. And I am now a lost NFL fan. I love the game. I love the league.
There's plenty of room on the bandwagon for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I do kind of like the Eagles, believe it or not, and this is not because the last couple of years. When I was in New York, I started to like the Bills.
Really?
Blasphemy, I know.
Why?
I think I saw how they played the game with grit, and I really respected it. Huh. And I respected that they were an underdog and fought really hard. And I was
but
like,
so were the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl.
This is true. And I really liked their quarterback. I was like, this guy's got something. And now they're very good. So I root for their success. But overall, I love the NFL. I enjoy watching NFL games, great matchups. I'd love to tune in. I keep up with it. I am in pick'em pools. I love it.
And you live in Chicago, so any Bears?
Not quite. I'm having a hard time signing up for that. But maybe you could get me on the Eagles. That specific Super Bowl, I was rooting for the Eagles.
Thank you. You know what? My grandfather was a Bears fan. And to my knowledge, he never lived in Chicago, had no tie. I think he just liked the Bears. So it is kind of funny how sometimes, and I feel like nowadays there's a lot of, well, no, that's not true. Historically, I think a lot of people are Cowboys fans who aren't from there. And I think that's one of the biggest teams where I see that. But sorry, anyone who's a Cowboys fan, not my thing. Not my thing at all. But it is my favorite matchup each year when the Eagles play the Cowboys.
It's a good one.
Although, really, any of their divisional games are fun. But Eagles-Cowboys is by far, I think, one of my most favorite. Clearly, I'm an Eagles fan. I don't waver from that. I waver from none of my Philadelphia sports teams. College, though, is interesting. So how you are with the NFL, I am with college because I didn't go to college that had a big football team. In fact, I'm not sure they even have a football team anymore. When I was in college, they did, but they weren't great. And I didn't go to one of those colleges where it was like a big football school. That's the one thing I wish I did in life because I never really got that experience of like the big college rivalry and football game.
Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame.
She's trying to get me over there.
I will have to say, so my brother played college football at Stanford.
Okay.
And Notre Dame and Stanford play each other every year. College football for me, I love it, but it will never be the same because it was just a totally different experience to have your sibling, your family member playing in the game. And then I had another team to root for and had this interest and they would play each other and it was unbelievable, but I still love college football. I just think the stories are incredible. The pageantry, there's just something about it.
No, I agree with you. And honestly, I love football just in general, even high school football. I covered high school football for a lot of my career when I was in Philadelphia. And I loved telling those stories of the younger athletes who were just, fighting their way tooth and nail to be able to play in college and then in college to be able to go pro. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about sports is all of the stories that sports bring.
Yeah. And the hard work and They're hard-earned success, hard-earned success. for sure.
Absolutely. But seriously, I have lots of green
Okay.
if you'd like to borrow some.
Oh, I got green too, girl.
That's
I got green
true.
too.
That's true. Oh, so see, she's already an
But
Eagles
we
fan.
got Notre Dame green, if you want to come on
That's
over.
that's true. That's true. And we're doing a lot more of the Kelly green this year, which I love.
Mhm.
That's been my favorite green anyway. So, okay, I like it. You know what? We can get on board with all
What
this.
is the next question?
Okay. So, how about this? Future plans and goals.
I have a lot.
Would you care to divulge?
Yes. Well, I am getting married, so I'm very excited for that. So
Yay.
that is a new chapter of life that I'm entering into and creating our own little family, etc. So very excited for that. Future plans. I really like consumer products. My main client in my day job is a CPG company, so fast moving consumer goods. Would maybe one day love to work in that industry. I also, Jillian, am really passionate about women. I would love to create a women-focused brand. I'm not sure what that is totally. I have some ideas and would love to flesh that out further. And I think long-term, I would love to serve on the board of a company or a nonprofit. That would be my ultimate goal, kind of using the skills that I've developed in these two buckets that I've been doing. And of course, I'm still loving sideline reporting. So that's something I'd love to keep up with and continue to do.
Absolutely. And like you, I would like to get married one day and have my own family, whatever that looks like. I'm not one who necessarily has everything planned out or has a vision for everything. I take things as they come. And I also have faith that life is going to bring me what I'm supposed to have in certain aspects.
So beautiful.
So I have a lot of beliefs about that, which, we can talk about another time. But so that's part of my future plans and goals. But the other part of it, similar to you, and we've discussed this, we'd love to use our voices to be able to inspire other people. And that includes men, women, young adults. I think we run the gamut with who we want our voice to inspire and to connect with. And so just finding different ways to make that happen. We talked about maybe one day putting on different events, and I'm not going to give away too much, but doing different things that we have visions for and plans for. And so just really trying to use our platform, use our voices, that we've been blessed to have these voices and these platforms because of all of the things we've done throughout our career, and use them in a responsible way, an inspiring way, and a way that hopefully will be able to shape young adults' lives going forward.
Good. Yeah, to spread the good.
Yeah. Okay. So next question would be, how do you balance your business and personal life?
So this is a very challenging one, and work-life balance, I think, is talked about a lot. I would love another time to dive deeper into this, because I think that window on really separating is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, because we live in this world of 24/7 connectivity.
All right here.
I think it's something that for employers or somebody listening who runs a business, you have to promote this.
Yes.
Or people burn out. We know the war on talent is crazy right now. And I don't see that changing. So for me personally, I think it's certain times of day, not looking at my phone. At 8:00, my apps shut off. I do not look at my phone. I do not look at my email. I turned off email notifications because they were disrupting when I would finally start to relax or move on to enjoying personal time for myself or with my future husband. So the notifications are off because those are interrupting and they're taking your attention away. I think for me, cooking in advance is really helpful because I don't have to think about it. I can go and grab things that are ready made, especially when I'm on back-to-back virtual calls. And maintaining my workouts helps me escape, get away. Lately, I've been into doing them in the morning when I don't have early meetings, because then I'm not as stressed. Oh, I have to get to this at 5:30 at the end of the day. Then I can focus to easing into my evening and cooking. But I also think it's about creating relaxed time for yourself.
Yes.
The weekends and your time away from work, you need that social connection. There's no doubt about that. That's good for your soul. You also need that recovery time. And a lot of times I ask myself as I'm weighing or do I need do this? Do I do that? I ask myself, what will give me more peace? And sometimes that helps me enforce those boundaries.
No, that's a great idea. A lot of people also think, well, what's going to bring me more joy?
Yes.
Similar idea, having to make those decisions. And I think for me, it's really setting boundaries in my life. And part of the reason why I decided to take the step back that I did in my career is because I needed to establish boundaries for myself. I needed to put more focus on my personal life because I wasn't doing that at all. And that is certainly, a conversation we can dive into deeper later. We're just scratching the surface of some of this right now, but I had to do that for myself because I realized I was, my work life was all the way up top. My personal life was all the way at the bottom, and there was no in between. So for me, it was learning how to set boundaries, taking a step back that I felt like I really needed in my life. And now that I've done that, it's things like when I'm eating dinner, not being on the phone. It's things like first thing in the morning, and I'm not always good at this, but do I have to grab my phone right away? It's things like, you know what, it is 9:00 at night and I have schoolwork to do and I have work I could be doing, but it's also really important for me to just sit down and write. And so it's making those little decisions throughout the day and actively thinking about making those decisions that are going to be best for your personal life, your business life, and your mental health life.
And that trap is so easy to fall into. And I think even now that we're in a more virtual world, it's really hard to shut it off.
Yep.
And so you have to be the one.
Yes.
Of, nope, I have to shut it off.
Yep.
I can pick this up tomorrow.
Absolutely. Okay. Next question would be, this is a good one. Curious on what discussion and topics will be. Is this for all or female focused? And this was a question specifically about the podcast.
Why don't you take this one first, just to mix it up?
So this is not just female focused, although we'd like to obviously engage a lot of women, a lot of young adults, especially females, because I think there's a lot of experience that we have. And so we're going to have conversations that certainly will be geared towards females and towards women, but we're going to have a lot of conversations because we both have this business background that will be geared toward professionals. And there are going to be, we hope, most conversations that we can find that middle balance that everyone will get something out of it. And that's the goal.
I think empowering women, we really care about it. It's really important to us. And that is not going to go away. But I think our podcast is equally important for, as you said, that professional looking, that professional listening, that person who runs a business. And all of those folks, I think, we really care about reaching and sharing what we've learned.
And to that point, we got a comment, and I just want to share it because I want everybody out there to know that we do read these messages. And when you ask us questions, of course, we can't get to every single one all the time, but we're trying to. And we got a comment that struck both of us. And this person said, really like what you and Justine are building. Good examples for my 17-year-old daughter who will be heading out to begin her post-secondary and career soon. And messages like that, comments like that, I actually got chills just reading that, because that's what we want to do. There are so many podcasts out there, and I'm not going to name names or bash anyone or anything, but there's so many out there that are just talking about pop culture and entertainment and this and that, and it's for purely entertainment purposes. We really hope that there's a market for our voices where we're trying to be inspiring to the next generation, and we're trying to shine light on things that affect professionals and just maybe create some kind of positivity going forward.
Absolutely. And I think how we can help others through the lessons we've learned and the career choices that we've made throughout our lives really matters to us. Like, we really care about that, and to be a positive influence and shine a light on, hey, here's a different approach of doing something.
Yeah. I hope so.
Thanks for the beautiful comment.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
We love comments like that. Okay. So let's see. Oh, here's a good one. This is a tough one, actually. Who's the number one dream guest to have on the show? We don't have just one, by the way.
Oh, that's a hard one.
It's a hard one. All right. So I'll throw out there.
And also, I'm going to pull up my list.
Okay. Yes. So I would love to talk to Elon Musk. I think there's so much knowledge up there in that brain. I mean, you look at everything he's developed and he's been a part of, and I would just love to sit down and have a conversation with someone who has been the creator behind so many things that affect our day in and day out, and not only our day in and day out right now, but our future.
Absolutely. I mean, he says something and it alters the stock market.
Yes.
So, I mean, the influence, the creative genius that is Elon Musk would be awesome to tap into.
I have another one.
Okay.
Philadelphia based.
Okay.
Charles Barkley.
Oh,
who doesn't love Charles?
We will take him anytime.
Yes. You know what? I love people who speak their mind. I love people who are unapologetic about who they are. And that's what he is. And I think that that's fantastic. And I think that that is sort of what we're doing with this, in creating these voices of our own that we've kept inside for so long. And now we're putting them out there. And so, I don't know, Charles, give us a call.
Charles, we're here for you. I would love to have Sarah Blakely, who's the Spanx founder. I just think she is so empowering, so amazing, her story and what she did. Mom of 4. It's incredible what she's done, the platform that she's created for women, and the brand so unique to women.
Love the product.
Yes. And we support the product. Another one, which would be awesome, and here's why. I would love to hear what went into the decision for Kim Kardashian West. I'm not sure where this decision came forward. We've talked so much about those inflection points in our life. She's now getting a law degree.
Right.
I am so curious and trying to pass the bar. I'm curious to hear about that.
Would you ask her anything else, or would you stick to strictly business? Because there's a lot to talk about with business because they have so many brands.
Absolutely. No, I think there's definitely, you could speak to everything she's doing right now and reinventing with Skims, reinventing that whole industry.
All right. So Elon, Charles, Sarah, Kim.
You're on our list.
Call us.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Future plans and goal, we did that. Okay. What are the most challenging subjects to talk about in your podcast? You want to start with that?
I don't think it's hard to talk about because we have such a good friendship and rapport. But I will say it is hard where you second guess yourself in that you are being really vulnerable and sharing some things. And we had a conversation the other day about some of the life lessons we've learned and some of those really emotional, tough moments that we've had. But that's real. That's what goes into being a human being and what makes you you. But it is hard in that there's a level of vulnerability in putting yourself out there, and that you're not just sharing the news and journalism. You're always trying to drive back to facts, what you heard, what you saw. You're presenting this. This is like you're sharing a little bit of your soul, a little bit of yourself, how you think, how you approach situations. So you're opening yourself up to judgment. And I'm just hoping that the positivity from all of that outweighs the negative.
It is frightening because you're right. Having a career on TV, you don't get to share your soul necessarily, unless you're working in opinion TV or something like that, and you're putting that out there. But we were never that type. And so we weren't bearing our soul to the masses. And that's what we're doing now. I think it's important though, because so much of our world nowadays is online. So much of it is content creation. And look, that's what we're doing now. So I'm not saying there's anything bad about that, but I had dinner recently with a number of college students, all female. And we talked about imposter syndrome. And it's really, I don't know how kids grow up in this online world right now, because one of them described it as, you open up your phone and say you're sitting there on your couch. We're sitting here on Justine's couch right now in our casual clothes having this conversation. And what if you are just having one of those moments where you're feeling alone, you're looking your best, you're not feeling your best, and you open up Instagram or any of these other social media platforms and you see everybody living their best life. It can make you feel bad about yourself, depending on who you are, depending on how you feel that moment in your life.
Comparison is the thief of joy. So
it is. And so right now we're in this world where there's so much comparison. And I think it is so important to have authenticity. And that's what we're trying to do with this. And I think that I'm not saying we're lacking it. I think everything else has overshadowed it in some capacity.
We've all tried to conform to these things that we know get social media attention, which is natural. Of course you're going to want positivity and a positive response.
Right. So I think that for me, that's certainly one of those important aspects of doing this, is just passing along the message of how important it is to be authentic, not only in your personal life, but in the business world and your professional life, I think as well, because you're in the business world. You can tell when there's authenticity and when there's not.
It's huge. And it builds a lot of trust too.
So
that you work with.
So that's, I guess,
and we're striving to be our authentic selves, which we always have.
Yes.
But this is even more, we're more exposed, and we just hope that our intents are positive. We hope it will be received positively.
Be kind to us.
We're sharing life lessons. They may not always come from us. They might come from others, and things that we're seeing, kind of knowing that we have straddled both of these worlds between broadcast journalism and now in the business world as well.
Yeah. And lessons along the way, like specifically when you look at social media, lessons we've learned in being authentic is that you can look at all these glittery things out there, but when you are true to yourself, I think that's when you're going to reap the most abundance in life.
Yeah, I would agree. Jillian, maybe we end with something really fun. So somebody asked, let me find it. Drum roll, please. Why is Levi the greatest dog ever? You're welcome.
Well, why isn't Levi the greatest dog ever? Just look at him. He's adorable. You know what? Levi came into my life at a time where I really needed him. So for those of you who have dogs, you understand this. If you don't, then you might think I'm crazy. That's fine. But dogs are just, especially French bulldogs, if you haven't had a French bulldog, and there are other dog breeds out there like this, but they're such companion dogs. He will just curl up on my lap and just lay there with me. And he's so sweet. He's a wild, raging lunatic sometimes, don't get me wrong, but he's just so sweet. And he came into a point in my life where I needed that companion. I got him in end of 2020, but I ended up picking him up after 9 weeks in 2021, end of January. And it was at the point where I was making serious decisions in my life. And I was just struggling. I was struggling really hard for a while in trying to come to certain decisions, moving from New York to Philadelphia, taking a step back in my career, things like that we've talked about. And he was with me when I lived up in New York, and then he moved to Pennsylvania with me, moved in with my parents for a bit until I closed on a house, and then moved to the house with me. And so in his 3 short years, he's already gone through so many transitions with me.
I know, I was going to say.
And that's special. And by the way, shout out to Marsha. If you guys are listening, I'm wearing a sweater that has a French bulldog on it. It's not Levi, but it is a French bulldog. And so thank you, Marsha, for sending me the sweater for my birthday.
I think that was the perfect question to end on. And now I am considering getting a dog. Nothing serious yet. It's in the works.
Are you?
It's on the radar, I think.
Okay. I have so many questions. What kind of dog?
Well, I think I want 2. So I want a bigger dog. I love labs, so maybe that. And then I'd love a lap dog too.
Like a French bulldog?
Yes, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. My husband gets a say in this too. So
Levi's going to have a cousin.
He gets a say. That's how that goes.
Yes.
But
do you have any ideas on names?
Names, we have not gotten there yet. I think we're still a few months removed from pulling the trigger.
Okay. Well,
but I know who to call.
Ghostbusters. I'm just kidding.
It took me a minute.
I had to throw that out there. No, call me. Coming up with names for dogs is so hard because I don't know. It's like it's their whole life.
Yeah.
Wait, one of my favorite sentiments about dogs is, and this might make some people shed a tear, I apologize. And this is not the direct quote. This is just my interpretation of the quote. But dogs are a chapter of our life, and we are their whole book.
If that doesn't make you feel good, I don't know what does.
I know.
So sweet.
All right. On that note, we're going to go to dinner.
Yes, we're going to have a nice dinner.
Yes.
Celebrate ourselves a little bit.
Thank
we
you.
talked about balance. We have to celebrate the wins. That's the other big thing with balance.
Exactly. We are going to go get some balance, and it's going to involve food and a glass of wine.
Or two.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Credentialed. We will see you next time.